Welcome to Conscious Conversations, a place where East meets West, a place where conversations and ideas will challenge your minds, expand your consciousness, awaken your heart, and make you think more deeply about yourself and the world.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm Anthony Profeta, and I'm here with co-host Wes Gordon. How are you, Wes?
Doing wonderful. Very grateful to be here today.
Oh, me as well. I'm thankful that you're here. Thankful that you're my co-host on the show. It's been a lot of fun so far. But if you can sort of guess through this little interplay of words we were just throwing back at each other, around the Thanksgiving holiday, many people often think about being thankful or grateful.
Yes.
And so we thought that we'd have a conversation about gratitude and the importance of gratitude and how, it's a secret quality that is very important to our lives, both from a physical, mental, emotional, and even a spiritual perspective. I believe that gratitude is a quality. Gratitude is a characteristic. Gratitude is a attitude that we can cultivate, that it is something that we need to cultivate on a regular basis. And I hope that we just don't limit it to maybe one day or one holiday out of the year, or maybe even one season of the year. I truly believe, and I try to encourage people to begin and end each day with a grateful heart.
Yes.
For gratitude has, I believe, and I don't only believe, but I've seen through research as well, gratitude does have a very great benefit for us mentally, emotionally, and physically, and even spiritually. Within the Jewish Talmud, or the sacred text of the Jews, there is a teaching that it says, every day give 100 blessings. And so imagine what our day would be like. Imagine what our life would be like if every day we were just sending out 100 blessings or gratitudes or thanks or something towards people. What a magical day that would be if we, or what humanity would be if many people were doing that. But just our day alone would be totally changed if we were doing that. What is your opinion on this practice of gratitude?
In my life, in my experience, I'm guilty of overlooking this because I get so caught up in the doing of life that I don't realize how much abundance and love and help and how everything's working together to be grateful for. So like you said, especially for me at night when I go to meditate, it's easier to reconcile the day.
Okay.
And it has to, for me, it has to come from your heart. I have to be, to really get the connection is to be humble within.
Yes.
And then you're grateful for things that are not tangible all the time.
Right.
I mean, there are great physical things that you can be grateful for, but your ego tends to be more aligned with, oh, wow, look at all I've got. I'm so grateful for all this stuff. But I'm talking about a deep inner, like just thankfulness that, wow, this is way bigger than me.
Right.
Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this and experience it.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful point because by definition, gratitude is expressing appreciation for what it is that we have. And that's totally in contrast really to our, I guess you could say, our consumer mentality, which is only about what it is we want and what we don't yet have. Where gratitude is taking a step back and saying, hey, this is what I do have, and wow, how grateful I am for that. It's taking nothing for granted. I mean, even the smallest blessings, and it's being thankful for even the smallest little thing. One of the things that I've always found beneficial in my life that really helps me to be grateful and thankful for what I do have, because when we're immersed in things for days in our lives, we often become forgetful of many of the things that and privileges that we do have. But traveling has been one of the major things in my life that has allowed me the opportunity to really pay attention and see how grateful I do have things. And many of us in this country do have things, because going to some third world countries, I've seen people who didn't have running water, who, didn't even have a home. They were living in basically a plastic tent that they created out of like garbage bags with a pole. Now, they still seemed, and I've had conversations, I've sat and talked with these people, they are some of the happiest people I've ever met.
Right.
But from my perspective is that I take for granted things such as air conditioning. I take for granted things of like a hot shower.
Yes.
You know, I get up every morning and I can turn on the water and there's hot water there. But yet, do I take a moment to really be grateful for that? Because there's many people who don't have that.
Right.
So really trying to pay attention and count our blessings does play an important role in helping us to appreciate our lives so much more.
Yes, the speed of our life, the way that we live, makes us so distracted that we overlook this powerful, powerful thing that you can do internally, be grateful for. I had one of the things that I dialed in one time was the chaos of your family. All the people around you, especially around the holidays, you get upset with. You have all these little battles and stuff like this.
Right.
And in a meditation, it was vividly shown to me that those people, be it as it may, the crudest they could have treated me or acted or said, they were expressing their highest level of love, right, whether they were aware of it or not, just by being in your presence. And I have just instantly got humble and started realizing, wow, I shouldn't hold anything against those right people for how they acted. I should be grateful and humble that they're actually in my life and they are expressing love in the best way that they know how. Even though it may not be my recipe,
right,
I have to understand and allow and be grateful for them because of that.
Yes.
And that was like, wow, there's a lot of love happened in my heart when that took place.
Yeah, and it's beautiful how gratitude, you really can feel it well up within you. So there is a powerful energy that's associated with this. And the spirit of, or the attitude of gratitude really does help us to shift our focus away from what we lack and actually helps us to see the abundance that we really do have, because we begin to see even the smallest minute things that we have to be grateful for. And, you know, every tradition or faith does talk in some ways about being content or giving thanks in some way, or give thanks for everything, and everything give thanks. And so we should try to be cultivating that sort of quality more in our lives, because science has shown that people who do that, there's a powerful, powerful benefit for people who just begin to be thankful and practice gratitude for things in their life. Gratitude has been intimately connected to both our level of happiness and our level of health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so within many studies, that's shown that gratitude does have the ability to increase our well-being. So for example, there are psychology studies that show that people who practice expressions of gratitude daily, so every day they try to find something to be grateful for, it actually results in higher levels of alertness. It shows increased enthusiasm for life, increased empathy towards others, as well as better sleep and lower levels of depression and stress.
Wow.
So those are some pretty good benefits right there, just to practice gratitude. But it also showed, there are other studies that show that people who cultivate gratitude in their lives begin to place less importance on material goods.
Yes.
And so they begin to awaken sort of a more spiritual component to their lives, as well as we're shown to be less envious or jealous of things that people had, because they're grateful for the things that they do have. And if we're not grateful for what we do have, why do we think if we get more, we'll be grateful or life will be better? I mean,
yeah, I think gratitude's one of those spiritual principles that it's a power-packed pill of energy, because when you step into true being grateful, you start radiating love out of your heart. And guess what happens when you radiate love out of your heart? It comes back to you through the people that are around you. Yeah. Because they can sense that in you, that you're not defensive, you're not attacking. And that's worth more than gold.
No, absolutely. And I like how you said this, the other people feel it, and they, you know, when you're sharing with them, it comes back to you, because there was another behavioral studies, psychology research that actually showed that people who give thanks on a regular basis were not only happier and more resilient, but they had formed stronger relationships between friends and family. So in my opinion, I totally believe that, yes, gratitude is a total game changer on multiple levels, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. But I think we need to take a quick break right here. We'll return back after these messages and continue this talk on gratitude. And we're thankful and grateful to all of you that are listening. So please stay tuned, and we'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Conscious Conversations. I'm Anthony Profeta, and I'm here and very thankful to be here with Wes Gordon, and we're having a conversation on gratitude. And we were just talking a little bit about some of the benefits in which psychological research shows that gratitude does for us, and how this really could be a game changer in our life. And I'd like to reference one other study, and it's by two very famous psychologists named Michael McKellar and Dr. Robert Emmons. And they've been studying gratitude for decades. And what they did in one of their studies was they took several hundred people, and they broke them up into three groups. And they asked all of these people, these hundreds of people, to keep a journal or a diary. The first group, though, that they separated the people into, this one group, was just asked to just write an entry about just their day, their lives, whatever, but really weren't told to focus on anything specific. The second group that people were in, they were told to journal or record in their diary every day the unpleasant things that happened in their life. So anything that was sort of negative or bad. The third group, they asked them to make just a daily list of things they were grateful for. And what they found was that the group that practiced the gratitude and wrote a list of things that they were grateful for showed higher enthusiasm, optimism. They were happy and more positive in their point of view about life. And also they were more in achieving a higher ratio of achieving their personal goals. And also it did increase their quality of life, well-being, and their immune systems. Wow. Yeah, very interesting. And what Dr. Emmons actually found, and he's been studying gratitude now for almost 20 years, I think maybe 2 decades or over 2 decades. What he found is that we have a set point for happiness in our life. Just like our body sort of has an ideal weight that it likes to be at, right, we have like this set of happiness, the level of happiness that we like to be at. And when things come along in our life and they're positive or good, our happiness kicks up for a moment or however long, but then eventually it falls back to this set point that we have. And then when negative things comes along, our level of happiness drops for however long, but then eventually there comes a time where it will level off back to that level or that set point of happiness. What he found with people who practice gratitude is they actually raise or kick up their set point by up to 25%. Wow. Now, I don't know about you, but I consider myself a very happy person. Yeah. But if I could kick up my happiness by 25%, I think I'd be floating on like cloud 9, like blissed out all the time. So I think that's a very powerful thing, especially with people who are maybe struggling with a positive outlook, or maybe feel that the world is sort of heavy or, in some ways difficult at the moment. If we can find things to be grateful for in today's society, we can kick up our level of happiness and find the positive or the silver lining in the skies that might be around us. Absolutely. So it is a very it's like speed dialing the God energy. Drop into gratitude and hang on. Yes, I like that. And it really does affect how you feel, because they're from a biochemical, and I don't want to bore all of you with all of this scientific sort of stuff, but I could talk about that stuff for hours. But to just basically sum up what happens to ourselves biochemically, because our thoughts do affect our moods and the way we feel and all of this, we can just basically sum up in one sense that our thoughts trigger physiological changes in our body. And so we do begin to change ourselves by the thoughts that we think. And there was a big proponent of this way back in the day. His name, and he was a minister, his name was Norman Vincent Peale, who had a very profound book and a very powerful book and a New York Times bestseller for years called The Power of Positive Thinking. Yes, know it well. Okay, yeah, me too. I've read it quite a few times, actually, throughout my life. But his whole philosophy was about thinking positive, gratitude, and all of these sort of key elements that do play into making our lives better. Yes. His work and his perspective and philosophy wasn't too accepted by the doctors and health professionals at the time, but today they do agree that this whole idea of positive thinking, gratitude, and keeping our mind in a positive mindset does have a profound impact on our health and our well-being. But the other thing that I do want to really talk about is that when we're talking about gratitude, we shouldn't only be grateful for the positive things in our life or the good things.
Right.
This might go against the grain, but we should also be very thankful for the negative things and the difficult things that come along in our life as well, because they are the stimulus for growth and development in our life.
Yeah. So you're stepping right back into the story of Job. he went both ways. He was like, it's all good.
Right.
Even though it wasn't good physically, it was still, he understood the powers at play. He understood the one power in his role.
Right.
Hey, way to go.
Yeah, because many times, we look at the negative as like, why is this happening to me, or the victim mentality and all of this. But if we can flip that, if we can really change our perspective to say, oh, thanks for bringing this to me because there's some lesson or there's something that I need to learn from this. So thank you for this experience. It has a profound shift on how these sort of difficult or negative or unpleasant experiences do play in our lives.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people overlook that because they think, oh, I always got to be positive. But hey, if you really want to grow spiritually, pour some fertilizer on there. Have some troubles, have some difficulties. That's when you're going to grow. That's when you're really going to stabilize and find out where you're at and what you're made of at that level.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not.
Yeah.
I just call you a cotton candy Christian if you're always if you're running from the bad things.
Yes,
you're not developing.
Right, and there are, and not to just throw labels on one community, but there are many people across the board.
I've seen it in all of them.
That do, they only want the positive. They only want the rainbows. They only want the bliss. They only want the unicorns and the cotton candy and all of that. And if it's anything opposite that, they have a complete aversion towards it. I don't want this. I got to get away from this.
Right.
But rather than getting away from it, we should really try to accept it and enter it gratefully, because there's something there in some way, shape, or form for us to learn. There's a statement by Jesus that many people actually don't like, where he says, resist not evil.
Yeah, confuses the orthodox world. What?
Yeah, what? Don't resist it?
Right.
Accept it? Well, maybe he was telling us to not resist it. Because one, if we resist the unpleasant things, we're actually feeding the energy that we do not want. We're making that worse. But on the opposite side, maybe he's saying don't resist it, because if you really look into it, there's some lesson that you can be grateful for that coming along.
Absolutely. And by not resisting it, you're not giving it power.
Yes. Oh, good point too.
Yeah, you're acknowledging that there's only one power and this has none.
Right.
And then the benefit is learning from it. And growing from it for whatever it is that's happening to you.
Right. So be grateful for the good and be grateful for the bad, because there is a lesson in those things that we perceive as being bad or labeling as bad. But gratitude is a practice.
Yes.
So it's something that we need to try to work with daily and do daily, not just on Thanksgiving or not just around some holiday season, but really every day of our lives. So what are some things that we can do to cultivate gratitude? Well, so again, maybe being a little biased in my outlook, there are specific things called gratitude meditations that we can do, in which we just try to sit and call into our mind's eye while we're, being quiet and still, all the things and all the people in our life that we can be grateful and thankful for. And then maybe trying to send them out offer them some gratitude, offer them some love for being in our life, or the things that we do have that maybe others don't have. Yes. And being grateful for even the small things, like as we were alluding to in the beginning, the air conditioner, the hot water, the this, that, whatever it might be, that there are millions of people in the world that do not have access to every single day.
Yeah, and you let other human beings know that you are truly grateful for having them in your life, regardless of how things have went. That changes the energy dynamic between you and them, and it's very healthy and very healing on both ends. And travel. Travel is an easy, for me, to see gratitude, because you can go and see these wonderful things in nature and just feel grateful for, my Lord, look at the artistry that was at hand here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that we take for granted. I mean, here in Florida, I take for granted sometimes that I have the ability to just go down to the beach any day I want. Sit on the sand, watch a sunrise, whatever I want. There are many people that live in parts of the world where they've never been to a beach, never seen a beach, never seen an ocean, never seen the sunrise over an ocean. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
I was at Christmas times over there by the Reef restaurant.
Okay.
And
Ocean Grill?
No, Ocean Grill.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas, and there was people huddled down there watching the water and the lights and everything, and it just hit me full impact of, wow, some people save up the whole year just to come here for 5 days.
Right.
And I walk through around this stuff and don't even give it a second thought.
Right.
And to them, it's a big event. And here I am taking it for granted. Don't do that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And so those are wonderful little reminders. Other things that we can do is like that research experiment that I was talking about with the two psychologists, is to maybe start a gratitude journal. You know, write down things that we are grateful for, make a list. Or if you just get up every morning, just think about one thing that you can be grateful for. Or at the end of your day, write down just one thing that you can be grateful for. And what I highly recommend is not to pick the same thing every single day.
Right.
It makes you begin to look deeper. So don't just get up every day and say, today I'm grateful for the sun. Today I'm grateful for, the sunrise again. No, really try to look deep and don't keep repeating the same thing over and over again, because then you find even the smallest blessings to be grateful for.
Yes. Like you said, make it more tangible.
Right.
Make it a feeling. You feel it on the inside when you do it. Not just like you're doing just from memory over and over.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because then you're really not looking within yourself. Right. There's a philosopher, Spinoza, who said every day we should ask ourselves 3 questions. And the 3 questions are, 1, who or what inspired me today? The second was, what brought me happiness today? And the third one is, what brought me peace today? And if we can go through those 3 questions each and every day, we can again find many things to be grateful for. So, just look within your own life, really find and dive deep into yourself. Look outside, find the people that you can be grateful for. And each and every day, just give thanks for all of that, because it really does change us on a fundamental level, body, mind, and soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with gratitude.
No, I totally agree. Like I said, it's a game changer. And I'll just leave you with this quote by a Christian mystic called Meister Eckhart, who said that if the only prayer you ever said was thank you, that would be enough. And so I think that plays in beautifully with gratitude. So once again, thank you all for listening and watching. We do love you. We appreciate you. We're very grateful for you. Please go to Conscious Conversations on Facebook and join the group if you haven't or aren't already a member, and add what you think, about gratitude and what you're grateful for. We'd love to hear it. We thank you all. We love you all. And may each and every day be filled with an abundance of love, happiness, and peace.